Divya Jombe Parana Topji Zawa Lona Me Onyen Drebe Parana Monam Zawa Lona Me Nyumon Ran Chang Re Bana Yi Zawa Lona Me Tonyam Chalin Ate Darya Cek Zong Bidala Gu Ba Chong Ji Zong Himalaya Bado Jeva Zoande Zo Himalaya Bado Jeva Zoande Zo Himalaya Bado Jeva Zoande Zo Himalaya Bado Jeva Zoande Yerma Bago, Jia, drinking Musim, Job, Chutado, Javars, Jela, Jelondo, Jedomata, Majana, Yena, Gander, Seva, Chesum, yes, by my Zorda, Tamin, Yami, Sena. Yunjing me sen jin yu mong ra ma dik jin ko la zu ra me a dan zi bang be pai ro na yin ba sa wa lo na me yo je ban de pai ro na chu zhen za wa lo na me ong la me ta pai ro na zu ba za wa lo na me Namne Dava Me Bana Tundu Zawa Lo Name Mangla Ne Pai Rana Samti Zawa Lo Name Nelo Tobe Pai Rana Shira Zawa Lo Name Sete Toje Pai Rana Taki Zawa Lo Name Divya Jombe Parana Topji Zawa Lona Me Onyen Drebe Parana Monam Zawa Lona Me Nyumon Ran Chang Re Bana Yi Zawa Lona Me Sonyam Chalin Ate Darya Cek Zong Bidala Gu Ba Chong Ji Zong Himalaya Bado Jela Zorwande Zo Himalaya Bado Jela Zorwande Zo Himalaya Bado Jela Zorwande Zo Himalaya Bado Jela Zorwande Yerma Bago, Jia, drinking Musim, Job, Chutado, Javars, Jela, Jelondo, Jedomba, Majana, Gander, Seva, Chesum, yes, by my Zorda, Tamin, Yami, Senare. Yunjing me sen jin yu mong ra ma dik jin ko la zu ra me a dan zi bang be pai ro na jin ba sa wa lo na me yo je bang be pai ro na chu zhen za wa lo na me ong la me ta pai ro na zi ba za wa lo na me Namne Dava Me Bana Tundu Zawa Lo Name Mangla Ne Pai Rana Samti Zawa Lo Name Nelo Tobe Pai Rana Shira Zawa Lo Name 세세 조제 파로나 타기 자와 로나메 divya jombe parana tobji zawa loname onye drabe parana monam zawa loname nyumong rang chang re bana yi zawa loname sonyam chalin ate darye cek dong bi dala ge pa chong ji zong zo Himalaya Bado Jela Zoande Zoy Himalaya Bado Jela Zoande Zoy Himalaya Bado Jela Zoande Zoy Himalaya Bado Jela Zoande Jerma Baga Jia Tuing Musim Jia Chutado Javar Zen Jela Jelondu Jetumba Talo Menjanya Bingai Nile Gandu Tsega Sen Jesum Yese Bai Mai Zordai Tani Nyami Senare Yin yin me sen yin yin mong ra me dik yin ko la ge la me a dan de bang be pai ro na yin ba sa wa lo na me yo je bang be pai ro na chu gun za wa lo na me ong la me ba pai ro na ju ba za wa lo na me Nyamne Dava Me Bana Zungru Zawa Lo Name Mangla Me Bepa Rana Samdi Zawa Lo Name Nelo Do Bepa Rana Hira Zawa Lo Name Sete Soje Pa Rana Taki Zawa Lo Name Divya Jombe Parana Tobji Zawa Loname Onye Drabe Parana Monam Zawa Loname Nyumong Rang Chang Re Bana Yi Zawa Loname Sonyam Chalin Ate Darye Cek Dong Bi Dala Ge Pa Chong Ji Zong Zo Himalaya Bado Jela Zoande Zoy Himalaya Bado Jela Zoande Zoy Himalaya Bado Jela Zoande Zoy Himalaya Bado Jela Zoande Jerma Baga Jia Tuing Musim Jia Chutado Javar Zen Jela Jelondu Jetumba Talo Menjanya Bingai Nile Gandu Tsega Sen Jesum Yese Bai Mai Zordai Tani Nyami Senare Yin yin me sen yin yin mong ra me dik yin ko la ge la me a dan de bang be pai ro na yin ba sa wa lo na me yo je bang be pai ro na chu gun za wa lo na me ong la me ta pai ro na zu ba za wa lo na me Nyamne Dava Me Bana Zungru Zawa Lo Name Mangla Ne Bepa Rana Samdi Zawa Lo Name Nelo Tobe Parona Hira Sawa Lonami Sete Toja Parona Taki Sawa Lonami Divya Jombe Parona Topji Sawa Lonami Onyen Rebe Parona Monam Sawa Lonami Nyumon ran tang re ba na yi ji zo wa lo na mi gong yang zhe li na te dar yin a cai zong bi da la yu ba xiong xi zong hu ye ma la ye ba do ye la zo wan de zo ye ba do ye lo so wan de ye me la ye ba do ye la so wan de zo ye me la ye ba do ye lo so wan de ye da je ma ba ge de ye a de yin me zen ye ja de Chu cha do jia wa zen jie la jie dong du jie dong bo
Anne Sophia. Anne Sophia.
Guten Morgen, good morning. So again, the blessing of your amulets. There is a table behind in the shop, and then it will be blessing. Rinpoche will do it just after the teaching. So please stay, and then you can pick them up. Die Segnung von den Amuletten wird jetzt gleich nach den Teachings stattfinden. So bitte bleibt dann dabei und holt die Sachen dann ab. Und danach wird es nicht, also keine Segnung mehr stattfinden. So after this is only this blessing. After that, it won't be more. Okay.
Das Gebetbuch, der Buch, huh? Tan yu nye gan gan yang am dan ye yum de mal sin den dong han ye te jer je ne zam la la yu da la da war je ben da ne bar je be Harambadan tham je jembe baranda jembar jemba tham je jemzo je Mahanam hadan nyambe sem je tham je devada Dong he dan dharan yurandala name bayang da baranzom bezan Rambo jem ho baranzom Dala da vara jembe dhanem bara jembe Tarabadan dam jembe maranda jemara jemba tham jemzo jembe mahanam va Ham deva dan de dong dan daran yurandala name Yanda maran zombe zon joram bojan do maran zon dola na maran jemen dan maran ham jembe maran jembaran jemban ham jemban jembe mahanam hadan jembe sem jam devadan Dong he dan dharan yurandala name bayanda baran zombe zan Rambo jan homo zon De jenda sangha ma je jembaran deling aye zumge walango Ma jembaran deling aye zumge walango Te de ne zong de nyam ma sang da zam je mar lung a ye zong he wa lang ho san je je dang so je jo nan la jian jo mar dan dan ne ja zhen je dang ge jian zhen je me so nan je do la ben zhe san Ram San je je dan so je jo nam Jan so je me so nam je ho la ben zhe san je ram San je je dan so je jo nam Han jo man dan dan ne ja zhen je dai ge nian zhen je me so nam je an ho la ben zhe zai ru mo re yu ma nam wa dan nyam be sem je tham je deo de ve je dan den bara je re je dong he dan dong he je dan da bara je re dong he me ben he wa dan men da bara je re cha dan je dan da anyom la me bara je ma nam wa dan nyam be sem je tham je dong je je dan da var je je dong me be de wa da man da var je ye ren cha da ye dan da va da nyong lan he bar je je ma nang ha da nyam be zen je dan je de wa de je dan dem bar je dong he dan dong he je je dan da var je je dong he me me de wa da man da var je ye ren cha dan ye dan da va da nyong lan he ba her je sa ye be je so ye me don ha he ra le ye ye de je ma san je je lan he de bro va ye an hong nan da ye ye ma yo ngo zum yon zo la me tho nan la je nang zan zan de yin ye yin chu da le lan je na ze yong ye la la me jong nge sa ran de om ran de wan da nge ran nam han da la ba de zo so san sa wa da je je yang ba da je zo ye rang ge yin zo wa ye wa jong ze dang ge je zo mo ham je zo me zan se ngo sem je nam je zam ba da lo ye ze ran je da che jong de mong de ma ye che jiang ho lo ngo ran de
bo do je je de ba sang je je ba de mo su na yong de jap ji je de ji jo la sa sa lo da ba mo ja da be je ke ren so le ro je je do do da cho wa je je chu la sa to lo do le zo wa la na to la ba da la da ge jang da wa yong de gen du la ya sa sa lo do je je de le na lo da ma me la je je ga bo ba pa mo ro ba ja no ka ju la ma na ma zo wa de o mi ji je pa ma le ta ta je ko je ko wa ya la se ju ka ta ta de sa be la me ja la zo wa de sa da ma ja la chu jen jin ya so me mo jo ji la sim ji zo da ne da jin la ta ba chu jen ne da da zo 대대 주로는 거지 다다 찾아가는 말아리가 가지 각시지 된다고 요래 옛날에다 가지 집어대 처음에는 정 가지 되다고 하려고 요래 정 가지 남나 그랬다 딱 소리지가 안 좋으려나 정 가지 파고 잡자 요래 제일지 이제 직진 수공을 성래 去年的节的，正太子嘛，是正太这个你把当个有来吃，正太子上波的你把人家都有来吃，正太你别说的，哦，正太是把这个的，哦，俺的口口的咔咔嗦嗦的上，这那个多把节有来，这马来是搞的呢，俺的是把的这里，刚才的卡当的，我下来的卡当拍不能在这些空那边还过来。 콩아기 그만 좋아하지. 생각이 있어와는 가리. 나지 되는 니봉아 되는 야고 오르면 나지 되는 야고 니봉아라고 그래서 되게 왜 다시 버리지. 니봉아 되는 탐지 그냥이 나빠 쩌냐면이라고 차대요. 네, 기본 공부할 때 좀 말해. 장하게 공 모시고 해야지.
So my Dharma friends, today, according to the program, I shall give some teachings on Milarepa's Fivefold Path of Mahamudra. And so normally we speak about the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra of the Jigong Kagyu lineage. And so those who have some sectarian bias, then they might think that this is just a Jikunkagi practice and then they will just disregard it. But now, Lojikten Sumgön had actually said that when we engage in Dharma practice, if one doesn't know how to properly really approach one's or understand the lineage or the tenet system, then that teaching itself can actually cause a lot of harm for this lineage. And then something that's actually very good becomes something bad. So then we make separations and we say this is me and that's him, and out of that many suspicions and doubts arise. So actually, it's not the case that the Fivefold Path is exclusive to the Drikung lineage. And actually, yesterday, Khenpo Sherab, he arrived here, and that's very auspicious because once in the past, I had a conversation with him about the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra, and I asked him about it, and actually he said that actually it's better if one would call it not that fivefold path, but call it the 5 essences or the 5 essential points. And these words of him actually were really very important, very precious, because that really shows that this fivefold path really is actually a practice that is common to all Buddhist practice. So in essence, all Buddhists really actually practice these 5 points. And that was actually made very clear to me also in this way by Khenpo Sherab. So I wanted to introduce him to you. It would be good for you to know him. So he's here now with us.
Dina, Tantric Practice, go yore. Penachala Sachibong, just gum the go yore. Tanta Sajagelo, Numakaji, Tamsi, gum, say gum rory. The gum dramata yore. Nang Jala de Karina Kari, Sanchuk and Tati Nadimato, Yinda Yomari. This is an answer to the top drama Yormani. There's on, or sometimes the bath of chicken. To watch it, maybe Gawaja, this habit just a dorji. Keep out the bottom to go your race. Nancy in bottom to go your Marie Sosole. Nancy, Chupama dinner. The new shape from time, the bar, look be chori magic. Look more sorry, you need each other to watch it. Take some more chicken by some. The rank it to the young Tawa, you know, ye doctor is a still low tea doctor. Same Jim, Tabasu Dawson, your carry. Not same, no same, Lockdasson, that Lockdari. Oh, that you mean but that's of Paris. Oh, no man, or get what is of Paris. The Lord Kiman Tadder and Yamis of Tola, lawyer. Never in Batanjil and after in Batanjil, sorry me part. So, Danang, some such on the like a senders or set the Thomas. So I was only Chadam wasn't made by Chadam wasn't you call die by the save by your goal of that kind of. Yeah. So I did some you choose on your answer about the test of half or dinner. Nadine, but a new magic kitchen boy. Nadine cheat thoughts on Rang to tuck and answer the tail in chocolate. Lama Sogom not take chocolate. Yadam, Caribula chocolate. Not to Nibu Chipari. Theatre or half or a tree, Gachi, Karen and Young, Market W. the Bottle, John Chilo, Karen and Young, Lama Karen and Ja, then Nibu Karilakundo. The Tagoret, Nibu, Sancho Samato Yin, and there was the Temato Yamari, take what some Bachupari and Northern City. Simply about same about Shankuman, Tanam said about you, doubling getting water. She looked at you getting very decent. Lambs, somebody no kind of chat of your society lower. The theatre, only 3, 다가 근데 강시 작은
So then, do we need different lineages or tenet systems? We do need them, but it is just like, for example, if you have a very precious object, then you also need a nice box to store it in, some container. And so the different lineages of Sakya, Gelugpa, Nyingma, Kagyu, and so on, they all are like this box, an outer vessel, a container. And those containers come in all kinds of forms. But the content is the same, and that is bodhicitta and this fivefold path. That is really what they all speak about and nothing else. And then to practice that, there are many different methods. And so now when we look at the debate about that, some lineages we praise, some we look down at, but actually the debate between the different scholars is nothing like that, nothing afflicted. It is actually a mutual refinement of one's understanding of the Dharma, and it's necessary for them to do. But for us practitioners, we should not go that way. We should focus only on the practice. It is said in a saying that the great scholars, they need to uphold the lineage, but that upholding of the lineage might cause fools like us to develop biased sectarian views of attachment, aversion, and ignorance. And then one might think that one is good and one is bad. And so then, even though your own Dharma, your own lineage might be really true and authentic, if you think that others are worse, then that mind, that this negative mind about others, that is really actually something that you don't want to have in your mind. So there's basically three things, three states of mind that should never arise within your mind. And that is desire, covetousness, it is harmful thought, and wrong view. And that's, for example, a wrong view, to think that mine is better than others. For example, a Nyingma practitioner might say, Gelugpas are so bad. So when that negative mind about others arises, instantly all of your practice has become spoiled. So it's really important for a true practitioner to remain free of any bias. So most important here is a pure perception. And the Buddha had also said, tame your own mind. That means purify your own mind, purify it of the afflictions of attachment, aversion, and ignorance, the source of which is the self. So look at your mind and how it is when you develop the four immeasurables. And then we say that ultimately Buddhas and sentient beings are not separate. So that being the case, how can there be one better and one worse, one better Dharma, one worse Dharma, and so on? So from a practical perspective, these five essences, this fivefold path is very important. And once you have received the instructions, then you can go about practice anything. You can follow your own lineage, do whatever practice, follow whichever Lama, practice whichever Yidam deity. The inner content, the essence is always the same. Then, for example, when I'm giving the refuge vow, then after that I'm sending those people back to the lamas, the lineage, and tell them, meet any lama, listen to any dharma, go to any lineage, but listen at what is the essence of what is being taught. The essence is always bodhicitta. The fruition is bodhicitta and nothing else. And in that they are all the same. So when you develop immeasurable love, then for sentient beings, then also a pure perception, an immeasurable pure perception for higher beings arises. And then, for example, when you encounter...
냠용은 다소 제었대 송고요래 nga chogo shena da kong lu song gi so lu ti da song ba li saji ti song yo de 근데 이미 소소가 대통령이 인제에 섬마도 소소 대외에 타제도고요. 말하는 타제도고요. 대외는 송선 합진데 대외 내가 맞추는 야게 자체 모래서.
And so then when you have this pure perception, whenever you meet any religious practitioner in the world, you will see them as an actual Sangha. And in that moment, your mind opens up like the sky. So this is how it is for me. So in any case, I will explain these teachings to the best of my abilities. And so now we have the Fivefold Path of Milarepa. And someone might think that this is another different teaching, but that's actually not the case. So what is it that makes Milarepa's teaching so precious? It is because he really brings everything down to the essential point. And that these words really come from experience. He himself had put all of that into practice. He had reached the ultimate fruition, and based on that personal experience, he teaches. So we might say that, oh, he said that, or the Buddha said that, and it might be like that, or it might not be like that. So we have some doubts. We are not so sure. We can't really decide. But Milarepa actually, based on his own personal experience, he actually could decide. He actually resolved it through his personal experience. That is why his words, his teachings are so precious, have so many blessings. And so that is why, because of the great blessings contained, Lama Tsering then arranged for these teachings to be given today.
도마 심지 남는 희제공 토지 소소로 등에 제모도 요래 저 생긴 희제공을 그래서 저 꼭발이 말 등에 요래라비래 제일 다 생긴 희제공 그 동가래 다 저세자고 저들이 뱀지 왕지 심지 탑지 샘도 미야 요래도 등에 미바도야 요래 조지지 취데 땅고 주는 게 위신이나 밖에 당연히 다 하고 말이지 용기 매래데 어디서 대사려 다 조지지 취데 다지 추기 저랑 그 등에 되나 이는 삼히지 고는 채한 그 등에 매와로 그래서 등이 총도 좋다고 그래야지 제 봐서 뭐 주지 당연히가 등이 매와로나 미양이 hin지 공부이지 대마다도 잡을 적상 못하나 자벨이 누구에 나빠 나서 그들이 냐와는 진짜 차대요. 때리시 감자버리다. 롱바들 때렸지. 낭세 용기 감자버리. 낭세 일에 줄었던 속으로 요도 버버면도 누구에 자항을 치는 달래까지 효소를 당하면 제대로 나성선 되고 다 동행 말에. 남는 생이 보고 달래간 로지도 자주마 비바마도 요면 대양 애들을 돌아다고 배나 미소버지네. 다 동행 말에. 대도 낭 세고 등에 하고서는 요 다디 잠벌리 등에 하고서는 하게 등에 총무를 해줄까요 말이지. 제가 우리 삼토고 요래 다고 세지 등에 이게 공세 생기 등에 하고 그래 되려고.
First, Milarepa had said, you must cultivate compassion for sentient beings. And so that might be sounding a bit may put you off a little bit, because when you hear that, you might find that, I myself suffer so much, so why should I cultivate compassion for sentient beings? What about my suffering? And so that needs to be explained. What does that really mean? These words by Milarepa. So first we receive a ripening empowerment, and here we learn that sentient beings can be ripened. They can become free from suffering. And then, having received that empowerment, then we receive the liberating instructions from our spiritual teacher. And so I myself do not know so much. I do not have many great qualities, but still I know that if you suffer and if you cultivate love and compassion for others, your suffering will go away, or at least will be reduced. So then you receive instructions on how to do that. So then when you hear that, you might think that if that's true, if I will be free from suffering, then I will cultivate compassion for sentient beings. But then you begin to contemplate, think about the world, how much suffering there is. There are some places in this world where people really experience hellish states of existence, so much suffering. In comparison to that, here in this country, for instance, it is more like a pure land on the outer level. But then on the inner level in the mind, there still is a lot of suffering. The rich suffer from their possessions, the poor suffer from their lack of possessions, everyone suffers. For example, you have a job, you lose your job, you feel, my whole life is destroyed. Isn't that suffering? Or you have to work day and night all the time, constantly, and you only have Saturday and Sunday, and even then you are just really wasting your time during those days. So isn't that suffering? So when you really understand suffering, the suffering of the world, then that will begin to put your own suffering into perspective, and your own suffering will not seem to be so great, not so significant. You will feel that my suffering really is nothing compared to the suffering of the other people in the world. So in order to cultivate compassion, first it's important that we really understand the suffering of sentient beings. And we are on page 18 in the Green Book, by the way.
rāni tūkī chibu gōngsi, tātī idam gōngsi, nādi yīngi nāni tāmbu sāpa gōngsi, simchini hīngi gōngsi, gōngu tōngsi, pārta idam lā gōngsi, rāni tūkī chibu gōngsi, tūkī chibu kārīdi, lā shiba kāngli chōngārīdi, lā shiba chāng chab chibni sōngārī, sāchak sī bīrā chīna, tī lā chāngu yōrī kārī, 그다 상지의 집이 제발들이 초당 처럼 다 차대요. 나디도 저거 시합죠. 시합 쳐버려. 저는 니게다 시합이 이제 와 가리게. 배나 소속에 마그 버들라 니게요. 버들 강에 동이 가려운 띠라다 띠 가려 비누을래가 처럼 좀봐 조바 탐지 라지 이거요래. 너가 맞다 와들라 소바서기 니제 용지 시합 연구에 야 니게 맨날 가요. 가원 무슨 속차 들어오면 뭐 세크로는 지도야요 말이야. 제들이 시합 연구 제들이 시합 오 라지 니가 같으니 가리가 필요로 가는 누구고 네 랑도고 네 삼바는 진짜 뛰는 연구요래. 하고는 니들이 시합 연구요래. 시합은 오 대다라 두개 치고 되다 심지 담지 로아를 저게 저 만들어서 너 동은 다사 지네들 용진이를 주는 오 세들 삼주지 지는 세들 다 락 세를 샤트 샘지 봐야 말하더니 나디 니제 집을 나디 요말 나디면 어떤 이걸 사실 뭐 세들 자체 버리도 그렇게 해서 다른 게 다 가리는 거 좋고 그러면 지금 좀 가지는 좀 보고만 다 가리는 지금 공지지 동됐다 그래야지 내가 무슨 말이 사시사와 상족 세는지 시서 작은 거를 못 줘. 사탐지지 세들 사족 세는 된 사가고 나랑 나한테 자서 그래야지. 이제 담가라 용띠 돼서 말이지. 일단 이런 지혜도 공소 말이라. 시랍 굉장히 제가 니게를 때는 시랍 이런 걸로 봐. 시랍을 막 벌어 비누 하고 그러와. 야, 수치 들어 속차 요말 나도 맞아 니게 요말. 들어 속차세 샤도 사요라. 나도 보고서 세 사서 봐. 니게 미비 다 들어 속차서 비세 샤사요. 라고 보고서 세 샤사서 봐. 오 집지 바로 버려 능이 요바 세리 깨르스나 능이 요바 소와 능이 요바 다 쳐고요라. 오늘 나가 보디 샤지야. 저기 속착사도 지나가 보고 샤소디는 가와지 되지. 자, 니게 메르 좋고요 말. सब지 동해. 니게 오늘 들이 이제 동해 손을 seb지 탐지 동해에서 가려나 라서 동해에서 초로. 지금이 되니 다 랑도고 내서 하고. 니게도 시랍이 니게 메르 시랍이고요 말라.
Then the second line says, meditate on your body as the great compassionate one. So in the Fivefold Path, it said first, cultivate bodhicitta. And so here it said, cultivate compassion towards all beings. Then the second point in the Fivefold Path is to cultivate or meditate on the Yidam deity. And so here it is the great compassionate one. And so what's the nature of the great compassionate one? That is Chinrizik, Avalokiteshvara. Where does the deity, any deity, really come from? A deity arises from bodhicitta. When bodhicitta arises in your mind, that mind is the deity. The only difference between Buddhas and sentient beings is like that between water and ice. When self-grasping diminishes, great wisdom arises, and that is the mind of the deity. So what is the connection between compassion and wisdom? For example, a mother loves her child, has compassion for her child, and therefore then when the child suffers, or basically the mother would know what creates suffering or pain to the child. So she would know what's good for the child and what's not good for the child. And then in that way she will naturally practice patience and generosity and ethical discipline, like she will not harm her child and so on. All of that is the quality of compassion. And when there is compassion, wisdom arises. But when there is no real compassion for sentient beings, then one will not really care about beings who are not one's own. For example, you might have compassion for your child, but you will not have compassion for any other being. You will carelessly, for example, kill any animal without having any feelings about it and just eat it. But then if I would tell you, then also eat your own child, then you would be shocked hearing those words. And you would certainly not eat the flesh of your child. So that is when one isn't really aware of the suffering of sentient beings. Then one doesn't really feel that. If there is compassion, one will instantly become aware of the suffering of all sentient beings. So wisdom arises from true compassion. And with that wisdom, then you know what to do and what not to do. And that's essentially a quality of compassion. And so this great compassionate one, Chinrizik, is the embodiment of that. For example, the 6 syllables of his Mani mantra are the antidotes to the 6 realms of samsara, or liberate beings from the 6 realms. So that is, the quality of Chinrizik is love and compassion. And that is the mind of all the deities. So even though the basis of mind is the same, all of our mind is the same, Only when compassion arises, then there is no self-grasping. Then the mind becomes vast. And so you can practice any Yidam deity. It can be Chenrezig or any deity. It doesn't have to be the deity of the Fivefold Path, for example. Once Yeshe Tsogyal asked a question to Guru Rinpoche, what is the deity? Where does the deity really come from? And he replied, it arises out of bodhicitta. That is the mind of all the deities. So the moment bodhicitta arises in your own mind, instantly your mind has become the deity's mind. So here Chenrezig is mentioned, but it doesn't have to be Chenrezig. But here he also represents this essence of all the Yidam deities, which is this mind of immeasurable love and compassion.
Im Beispiel hier, die Gottheit, die hier benannt ist in dem Wort von Milarepa, ist Avalokiteshvara, aber das Gleiche gilt auch für alle anderen.
就是咱们嘛讲，哦，他所说的上女界的女了，处处往接触个要么对呢，家里，那么给微信你讲，那么到他妈你七八家里头，就是呀，那么给微信你，那么给微信你他这个来就这人都写要嘞，老到那么就还搞要嘞，东西搞谁用了嘞？这里面都就嘛都通出要嘞。 동이 족죽방을 동이 잡아 말이야. 야 소소로 동이 총총도 지금 무서워 봤더니 빼는 같이 나시 작아요래. 빼더니 제발 가래 세부 제발이지. 세부자 장되는 것보다 집에 와서 쌍 저들이 제 가야가 저거 지피별로 첩대요래라 막 교신이. 디셈도 오라마 교신이래 이네지. 대 하고구나. 대 라마를 먹고 어디지. 라마고는 무구지. 무제들이 랑 동의를 줘보나 줘줄 못봐오나 딸라마지 지성 제발을 한번 송들이 동하고 들이대라 구바요고를 구지를 럭터고요 갈람테 럭터고요 되려면 딸라마 쪽사라마 곤트 라마 곤트 이렇게 비가 라마지 샘깔이 류조 말이 샘조를 샘들 코 동의미가 가렸어요 동의미 말이 오 샘 코가 샘을 제시해봐 하고 코를 다요 말이 이제 제고요 그랑 동에 직장만 생기다 동에 하고 우리 대사를 재미지로요. 그 땅아지 하고 그도 그러려면 그 장이 있고요. 뭐나 라마고 쫄사라마고.
And the third line says, meditate on your root guru just above your own crown chakra. And so now we are not able to cultivate great love and compassion so far. So our love, our compassion is very limited. So what's the difference between the gurus, the lamas, and the disciple? So the guru, the spiritual teachers, they know about karma. They know what to adopt, what to discard, what to do and what not to do. They know the four thoughts that turn the mind. And no matter how much suffering there is, they are able to see it all as a dream or an illusion. And even though their bodies are the same as our bodies, they do not experience pain in the same miserable suffering way as we do. We, on the other hand, even the slightest problem becomes often unbearable, and some people even commit suicide. So what's the difference? The difference is the mind. So the mind of the guru is an awakened mind, and that means in Tibetan Chang Chup. And Chang means to purify. What is purified is the grasping at this concrete reality and our labels that we assign them to. And then Chup is to master, and what is mastered is the altruistic mind. So then in order to acquire these qualities, we need to listen to what the guru has to say. And for that, we need to develop devotion, as Chigten Somgön had said. Devotion also consists of 2 syllables in Tibetan. It means mögu, and mö means to aspire. So first we aspire to become liberated from suffering. Gu means to respect. So if you aspire to become free, then you must respect the words of the Guru and practice whatever he tells you to practice, considering his words as authentic. So then when you really respect the Guru's words, then you will be able to practice what you're being told. So it says here, visualize the Guru above your crown. And so only visualizing him above your crown on its own will not be of much benefit. So here we need to see what's more important, the Guru's mind or the Guru's body. It's the Guru's mind that's more important. Why does the Guru not suffer like we do? It is because he understands that the mind is beyond birth and death. He has no self. He has great compassion for sentient beings. He knows of the suffering of sentient beings. He has a mind of the 4 immeasurables. So when you know that, you might feel, I also want to be like that. I also want to know all of that. So if you want to be like that, then you must carefully listen to what this teacher has to tell you. So that is really what is meant with meditate on your root Guru above your crown chakra.
이들이 동만이나 고윤센스 동만이 가려리 당고 나진데 나이니 때려 차당소가 니와데 삼바체비바 양자양다 보는다 심지도 파마마도 직장매바 다제탐저 삼모다는 심지 장매바들이 들이 만남 과다 이냐베 오 심지 장매바리 샘남 과나고 차오 간니 들이 나들랑 이게 라로요래 들이 깝들이 직장 마삼 되는 선 나지바데 요말이 다 종구는 동아메가 차대요래 차디는 동관이 있어 다음에 봐지 하고들이 동만이 다음에 이해 맞아 봐야 되나 며칠 셈시고나 며칠 적대 시골 때 콩그레다 나래시 야 딱콩 셈이 하고 선들까지 한 통야요 말 뭔가 셈들까지 많이 셈지 코 셈지 빡빡 셈 나빠다 남도 매박감들이 내 방가 마음박감들이 셈들 나빠다고 남칼 이 말이지 돈이 라지 사바체비 받지를 하고 그래 또 나지 님도 일로부터 타고도 다 되게 저도 능이 말이 다 되도 타고도 나지 나디도 다들 메라 다 나지 님도 서 하고 진짜 동반이죠 오 동으로 돼 나지 님도 동다고 내 말을 하지 사바체비 받고는 지지 체비 받 지체비 받지 요래 소자 쭉 차오는 이제 저기들이 세로 그래 사바체비 받고 가리는 이제 지체비 받 지체비 받지 않았더니 나디들아 지금 우리 셔트고요 얼마나 대말 시합적인 동이 하고 그래 나진이며 하고는 다음 나한테 대리 삼바체미 니제체미를 말하는 남양 코지 따와야 요말 당 나진이를 좀 쳐와 저렇지네 내다고 쳐와요 이때들 저 막차 요거랬더니 돈이 니제란 말이나 돈이 동사가 돼 다들 동관이 시바데 너는 나진이며 하고 제 동이 동대리스 돈이 동관이 보는 센스 대 하고는 들 가지고는 지등 내지 타지는 这样我们全部老在去了对啥叫什么了我这种拿话到查着记得내려这个让心要配给有人东方人国民生
Fourth point is dissolve into the state of emptiness. So what is emptiness? First of all, we grasp it as self. So we perceive a duality of self and other. And due to that, we develop thoughts of attachment and aversion. If you develop immeasurable love continuously, by reflecting on how all sentient beings are my parents and so on, your mind becomes really vast. So you bring to mind all those sentient beings who have been your mothers and who are as limitless as the sky. And then the mind, your own mind, becomes like the sky. And when it becomes like the sky, naturally on its own, the self has just disappeared. And in that moment, don't think about anything, just rest in that moment. A self doesn't really exist. Even if you tried to find it, it cannot be found. It cannot be held. It is nowhere. So that is emptiness. When you realize that there is no self, that is emptiness. So then when there is no self, then naturally there's also no other. For example, if you would say, I want to know the mind of this other person, first of all, you see the other person's body. That's him, that's me. But I want to know this person's mind. Well, you can't see the other person's mind. You have to understand your own mind. When you look at your own mind, you realize that our mind is exactly the same. It is like the sky. When there is no thought within your mind, when all thoughts have stopped and no future thoughts have arisen, and then you look into that space between the thoughts, it becomes an experience of non-dual space. It becomes empty naturally. And actually, when you develop immeasurable love, the mind becomes empty like that naturally. And then you realize that self and other do not exist, and that those beings only cling to that idea momentarily due to their confused minds. But it is said, all suffering without exception comes from wishing for one's own happiness. So understanding that there is no self, you realize that self and other do not exist separately, and that is emptiness. And so first, when immeasurable love has arisen, from that a continuous state of compassion naturally follows. And then you will feel compassion and loving towards anything, even the smallest little animal. There's an ongoing state of compassion towards everything and anyone. So that in that moment, and naturally, self-clinging really has disappeared. If that is not the case, there is some very intelligent people, they might understand emptiness and understand that self and other do not exist, but in truth, the self is still there for them. So if one doesn't cultivate love and compassion, one will never really realize selflessness. So for such a person, there still is a self, so they still perceive the objects through the six sense doors. And due to that, they have a continuous experience of pleasure and pain, happiness and suffering. And these experiences continue to put imprints into their minds. So when emptiness is not infused with compassion, one can never really realize selflessness. This realization that self and other do not actually exist is the meaning of emptiness. And once you have realized that, all you need to do is to continue to abide within it. You decide upon it, you resolve it, and then you just continue to remain within it. In the Mahamudra teachings, in the Ganges Mahamudra, it also says, decisively, without thinking anything, without a single thought, look decisively at what lies beyond the mind or the intellect. So once you have decided that self and others do not exist, without thinking anything, abide within this state.
Gini mari, geta thoma dudini sepchi sabche tono toko yore. Pardo sabche sepchi sabche sangore, jisa terim, hoa tere teri, toking hoa, tokmiki hoa nisong, tokmiki hoa korso nambar mato pa tere, hoa ke chote chepa teri, danyi ni mewa hakone, nyaba joya te, teri tere, mokwa mepe hoa te. Teri tesa mato open korton, 다니 이미 이시 도마 떨어뜨려 다 나도 이조지 뭐고 새끼사정 뭐 저기다 직장을 봐. 이 뭐고지 돈다 가려지. 오 미엔다도 저서 마치를 주고 기타에 다도나. 배는 추첨주 속는 오가 삐다 치고는 그런 자치 못 삼비나. 롬샘지 그 추첨주 롬샘 매바 추첨주 샘지 탐체 도는 게 추첨주요. 갑자기 요소는 이렇게 수능 거 잡으려고 요래들이 삭제 수능이네요. 뭐아마지나 코로라서 라로 요래 레타 못 받다지. 뭐아지에는 라야 요 말에 들들 말을 배척직성을 강리 달아 공부 진상 달아 공부하면 공진당 초아지고 용다인 창냐버 잡을 때문에 요지 꼭 달아 공부 잡되나 로마 삼지 콜 갈라되나 그래서 마음 창냐도 잡을 때문에 요지 가르치래 때때브리지 뭐와야지 뭐하라더니 거기 다시 예비 쳐야 돼 그래서 기사들을 제발 매와 그래서 거기 되는 줄 그래서 상자 듣고 요래지 이런 뭐와야 또도 뭐왕 그렇지 다다 고선나 밤에서 뭐와 대라기 차대 뭐하고 그래지.
Then the fifth point is complete with the seal of dedication. And so we are dedicating our virtues that we have accumulated. Normally, when we engage in our mundane, worldly activities, everything that we do it for ourselves. It's all about me, me, me. And so when we now dedicate, it is not that first we do something good and then we dedicate it, but we actually always think of sentient beings. It already begins. The motivation is I'm going to do this for all beings. Then in the middle, when you're actually doing it, you're again doing it for beings. And in the end, you're dedicating it for beings. So there's two kinds of dedication. That is, one is conceptual and one is unconceptual. And the unconceptual dedication is also called the dedication that is free from the three spheres, free from the concepts of the three spheres. And so that dedication happens naturally from within understanding that self and others do not exist, abiding within this state. Dedication occurs naturally. And so then those beings who have not realized non-dual primordial wisdom, they practice the conceptual dedication. And from that perspective, we should consider others as more important than ourselves. So we give away all of our virtues to others and we claim nothing as our own. And the reason is that if we did something good, then we might find some, we might become arrogant about it or prideful and feel that I did this or that. And in that way, the self becomes even stronger. For example, if you're keeping vows of ethical discipline, you might think that I'm such a great monk. So you might feel very pleased about yourself and get even a bit arrogant about it, full of yourself a bit. On the other hand, if you think that I'm holding these vows for the sake of all beings, then you're actually accumulating merit. So this conceptual merit or dedication is that if we do not dedicate it, especially as beginning practitioners, it is possible that we lose these roots of virtue again, for example, by getting angry and so on. So Milarepa also said elsewhere that the great meditator who practices in the cave and that meditator's benefactors will attain enlightenment together. So Milarepa had said that those disciples who feed me during their retreat maybe all attain enlightenment together. And then as a result of that, because he dedicated in this way, also by knowing that self and other are indivisible, actually it is said that through his practice, many sentient beings can attain enlightenment. So the dedication is very important. So it says complete with the seal of dedication.
so toll benommen und hat mich so wunderbar da eingeführt. Diese Gedanken des Stolzes und der Selbstüberhöhung ist gerade das, was die Kraft des Guten darin zersetzt. Und deshalb ist es wichtig, um sich davon frei zu machen, dass wir all das Gute bereit sind, weiterzuschenken, weiterzugeben und allen anderen zur Verfügung zu stellen. Milarepa hat das wunderbar in einem Wort ausgedrückt, in einem seiner Lieder, und er sagt, der dort in Bergeinsamkeit, in Felsenhöhle übende und jener, der als Gönner allen Lebensunterhalt zur Verfügung stellt, beide haben die Verbindung, dass sie gemeinsam Buddha-Erwachen erlangen werden. So ist da eine Verbindung. Dort, wo der eine sich übend in eine Felshöhle, in Bergeinsamkeit zurückzieht, wo ein anderer großzügig diese Wichtigkeit davon sieht und den Lebensunterhalt zur Verfügung stellt, dann haben beide eine Herzensverbindung geschaffen, die Voraussetzung ist, dass sie gemeinsam zum Buddha-Erwachen kommt. Und Milarepa fährt fort und sagt, und die Essenz dieser Verbindung ist das Widmen. So wird also Widmen eine große Bedeutung, die dazu beiträgt, dass das Wohl für den einen und den anderen, für alle zur Verfügung steht. Und darüber hinaus ist es so, dass grundsätzlich Widmen von solcher Wichtigkeit ist und empfohlen, weil all das Gute, was wir auch erschaffen haben, all die guten Geisteseindrücke durch die Kraft eines auffallenden Ärgers vernichtet werden können. So ist man gut beraten, eben dieses Geschaffene an Freude und Guten weiterzuschenken und weiterzugeben, bevor der nächste Ärger es vernichtet. Aus all diesen Gründen gilt es im Anschluss an all jedes Getane, das mit Widmen zu besiegen.
너희들은 다 행복 마시바 뒤쳤는데나 들리 받치 뭐해 배받치 뭐해 야 취탐체지 행복 산적 sem레지 제 레라 말이 사제 깔았지 다 제거 그래 저땅 주복이 저거 자 산적 sem는데서 주기바这个 나 생기 탐제 나디리 메바동 탑고요래 저를 영화에서 기바까리 제는 지도도 거에 나 메바동 거래 대회는 사지 좀 드린데 그 도생들이 잡았나 숨발이 코그 적지 감 동라만 보라더니 취 부모 또라만 보 송거래서 내가 대통이 니고 찍 봐도 공야 찍 봐도 매스 강동 잡고 대발래서 제 또고 체에서 봐예스 또 뭐라 가르쳐 버리더니 또 그런 고접사 족생은 말에는 동당사 족생 또 탑요 말이 그 공리시 바니 시랍지 가시게 다음에 봐 하고 그래 지를 때나 타톡돼 있어 다음에 봐 셈매 봐 하고 그래 매봐 하고 와서지 죽은 유모가 당신 매봐 정도 가면 없어요 제가 요말 실에 떡서 당 정대 전용도 주 담마세라 여봐 요말 같이 세세 타고 그러죠 같이 된다고 제가 다 들린 노요 어디 다 쏘데 다데 치노래 대 많이 봐 고소 산촉 셈단 제를 가래 다디 양다 양도 은혜 몇 번을 세는 때는 오 사바세면 우리 세지 담체만도 까용 삼좀 해 봐. 차나. 들이 돈 담사족 지나지 또 그래. 어디 또 포체 들이 고속 좀 제만 거서 봐야지. 들이 주봉 제치고 저 사족 sem는데 사족 sem때 주 탐지 그녀보. 별로 오마토로 말도 동양 대답에 너는 사족 sem 제라 말이 두사를 저. 두사sab지기 염리지는 타족 사족 sem조를 보지 무슨 좀 타도나 다 될 접사 제발이 가까이마도 산촉세마다 나발 가는 리아요 말이 주섬 그 사지 그 산촉생초를 보지면 세를 보지라고 요 말, 또디 반응을 보지라고 요 말. 그 세배담 산촉생 배이군 세리시 세트 가르디 코 가도 인정하매 봐. 그 즈바요 봐. 가르치는 차야매 봐. 그야매 봐. 남의 가도 저가매 봐. 뒤도 미 산촉생도나 미제라 조보치 차만 라오 차나 조보 차를 집어치 자르고 사마를 잡아버렸어. 뒤에 따로 사족 생각은 세배 사다버지 무슨 주주요 말이지. 뒤에 따로 그 탐지가 인보 사족 셈지. 인보래라 말이 따때는 땅니 인보래야 사나. 드니 대선 말말 대선용을 딴 정가지 라병 거 말이 가지 싶어요. 주인보 사족 셈지.
These five essential points, this is really how we should refer to those five-fold path, because referring to it as five essences is of greater benefit. And so the essence of all Dharma is bodhicitta. And so we should really examine that, whether or not that is the case. We should really decide upon that based on the Buddha's teachings. So it is said that in general, the 84,000 Dharma teachings by the Buddha all come down to the essence that is bodhicitta. And so sentient beings need to eliminate self-grasping. So therefore, whatever virtue you practice with body, speech, or mind, it must come from an altruistic intention. We need to eliminate that self. The Buddha had said in the Samadhi Raja Sutra, I have taught thousands of heaps of dharmas in thousands of world systems, and yet all of these teachings have a single essence. There is only one thing to be practiced, and that is the ultimate truth. I have given countless teachings just to realize that. So in order to realize the ultimate truth, what do we have to do? If we do not give rise to the relative bodhicitta first, we cannot realize the ultimate bodhicitta. So as I mentioned before, there might be some intelligent people who understand that there is no self. For example, even in many sciences, many scientists understand that, but it is a simple understanding. Even though you understand that, are you free of afflictive emotions or not? Often, actually, it is even worse. We then even deny the workings of karma because we think that nothing exists, and then we just go around killing others without any concern for them at all. So, in this case, we are really making a very grave mistake. For as long as we are considering ourselves as most important, the self will only increase. If you cultivate relative bodhicitta, then the self will gradually and actually disappear. And when then immeasurable love really has arisen, then all that is in your mind are other sentient beings and nothing else. And then you will naturally realize the ultimate bodhicitta. So in order to realize just that, the Buddha taught the 84,000 different teachings, which are all included in bodhicitta. That is the essence of all Dharma. For example, it is like extracting butter from milk. It is the essence. So you should look into each of the different lineages. What do they really all say? They really ultimately all speak about the precious bodhicitta. And if you cannot find bodhicitta there, then it must be a different kind of religion or teaching, because actually in Buddhism, one could not even say that there is no bodhicitta in a certain practice. Has to be bodhicitta. So that is what is precious. It is not gold or a diamond that's precious. It is bodhicitta. Although often an outer example of bodhicitta is gold. It is said bodhicitta is like gold because the color of gold doesn't change. So bodhicitta is steadfast, with patience. It cannot break, it cannot change a person. So if a person really has bodhicitta, then for them there is no difference between enemies and friends. For them everyone is the same and they treat everyone with kindness. Another outer example of bodhicitta is that it is like the ground, like the earth. It is stable. Such a person does not change. You can rely on them. So really question, is that the essence of the Dharma or not? And then resolve it without any doubts. So this is also the essence of this fivefold path, or these five essences. It is the essence of all Dharma.
wahrzunehmen, dieser in uns erweckt werden möge. Das ist der Weg der Befreiung und deswegen zugleich die eine Essenz, auf die alles hinausläuft. Aus dieser Perspektive heraus macht es durchaus Sinn und ist gerechtfertigt, von den 5 essentiellen Punkten zu sprechen. Und es hat nichts damit zu tun, dass man einen weiteren Sektierertum Vorschub leisten möchte und sagt, das sind die Trickung 5 Punkte von Mahamudra oder so. Das hat mit Trickung speziell in dieser Weise gar nichts zu tun, sondern ist gerade der Hinweis auf das, was jenseits aller Sektiererei die Kernessenz von einem befreienden Wege immer sein muss.
Sangha Gehimbo Yadam Las, Sangha Gehimbo is. Sangha Dina, Tangha Sani Ni, Dilla La, Judy, Drum, Judy Drop, that is Lakam Bum Chamambo, that you Zor Chob, that Zoya Meva your what? You know, they don't get Tatuk the Carida, Flatter Carido, there one Jatum Tatuk, don't put Jerem the Yoris. The Zorum the Yoris. 제도니가 미래 싹찍자면 가서 제도니 돈 다독질이 다도 조름통 제시 정화를 제름증도 가서 제시 정화로 조름증 제도니 제시가 남종의 대상하고 탑치바바리 야 제일 희바요 말이지 또 이다고서 사야지 오나 제도니 리독선은 다 상하고 힘보지 담라 이다고 라고냐레스 다 참았지 잡으리도와 그런가 줄이면도와 참이들이 제도지 동쪽관도와 대하고서는 상하고 형보지 담라스
So then also it is said that regarding the Yidam deity, that the essence of the secret mantra of Vajrayana is the Yidam deity. And so within the Vajrayana, we have, for example, the new Tantric system, the old Tantric system, many different classes of Tantras, like 6 classes of Tantras and so on, and hundreds and thousands of forms of deities, and various development stages, completion stages, rituals, sadhanas. So it just seems endless. But ultimately, what is the deity? Even if you receive 100 empowerments, the essence of the development stage is the same. So they all deity yoga practices have the development stage in the beginning, and then in the end, the completion stage. There is not a single deity that doesn't have that. And so then what's the ultimate meaning, the purpose of the development stage and completion stage? The purpose of the development stage is to train in the existence of birth, or to purify the existence of birth. And the point of the completion stage is to train in the stages of death. So it is the path that shows us how to transform the existence of birth and death. And that is a special, skillful means of the secret mantra. So that is what the deity yoga really is about, and nothing else. Even if you have 1 million Yidam deities, they all have those development stages and completion stages. So the essence of the secret mantra is the Yidam deity. So again, we can see that this is not exclusive to the Drikung Kagyu lineage. It is generally practiced in all tantric practices. And also the meaning of the development stage and the completion stage specifically is practiced throughout various lineages. So for this reason, we can say in general, the Yidam deity is the essence of secret mantra or Vajrayana practice.
Sanlat Jingbo Lama Muj. Sanlat Jingbo Sanlat Sipadi Kari. Danyami Sanlat with Jupadi. Been rank, Kali, German, Yamson, Yon, River top the or Bena, Dar, thought the Deki, then check to semi beautiful your Besha Jana Bena, Bishi Daropa, Jenathan, Nanite, the Nogoson, Peter Tachibori Kong, Sedam wasn't Tarsus of Bari, Yilang Tartuk the Chi Chawa Dokawa, the Katan, Sevushab the Down the Dongjing, the Children Dabati Dabala, go 7 day look the Ranga you jumped in Tong to be on Tong the touch to be on my Tong Tong, Tetom, the Tetom would lord the Moko Topa, Dugger than the door Tesomri. Oh, they don't same crown last China. Then he, oh, this is the top of Jesus, send the look, they are unreacted, G or Marty. You look in town, Tetom, Jug than Nevig do some your Nevig, Tesomri, take it. Touch to be on my Tama Chorta, talk your my Dama Toba, Tesomri. Three pitching Aropa, the Ropa Sone, three Gachi Junior, Kawan, Saji Jane, three Teropa, Hambo Shall, three, Tati, Tesomba Hakori, telling your means of how would you party. Very chung in that, Maso at the time, she did to Pura, she did to the Toma, Masomaki, February during a meeting. Three Roma take them here at Sanka, Japanese. Kanete, 3 Kasaka changes the mother song. Koto Towa Sham was it. Telling Yamis and have you are there. Yamis and up so young, but the source of the Bogu that dinner, Cooper drink up a whole chomer. Yonder, totally tell them so much about it. Party. He relies on most of the sorry. There is a theatre on a tree. Tajin was a Namijana, Yamden Namijana, semi jetty, you better patch. Several Choa Levia, Choa the Lebanon take 3 Rabin Yamson and Choa, she was a Debataka, Sebu Debasha, maybe. Then in Yamnis and Habu Jibati, Yamnis and Habu Jibati, Lamas, the Lamatini, the Chicha Yomari, just of the subject of Chica, Lama Tingupena, Lama take Yamni to Dini, take a Roma to the Roma take Milarepa, Labiore. Lama Nigis Archibald, Roma Moose Archibald. 第一个投了这里，可能吃了你大的，另外一个没哪里别吃的，就吃不了的。那么你见面呢？没这个事。那么用的接他用了，那么你见面呢？我们就是。那么这些上那样，你没面呢？今天这个查他个嘛来是，这里你见吃完了，我这就罗马没在让是，没个人这话是见得吃的。 呀，农历明啊，你把它具体就那么没在让是，你让突击他这话是觉得吃的，那罗马的没有一起去了，那么就罗马的经济就过来是，这个话，这个是人民是他的宁波的，那么的突击过来是，是他的宁波那么子。 我们这老过嘛，这吃吃多少就可以。那边经济咋起么样子？那边没咋起么样子？这里头个吃的我们可能比高一点，嘛些那边我们那有啦。
Then it is said that the essence of all blessings is Guru devotion. So regarding blessings, now we call this lineage the practice and blessing lineage. And so that is now someone who has, for example, a master who has practiced hard with great effort and has gained personal experience and realization, attained the fruition, have realized the view. Such a master can pass that on, transmit that from mind to mind. For example, in the case of Panchen Naropa, who first was a great scholar at the Nalanda monastic college, and he was a great gatekeeper, and he was also someone who was completely accomplished in the fields of listening, pondering, and meditation, and so on, and learning. But then ultimately, he had not realized the nature of mind. What we mentioned yesterday in the empowerment, it is very subtle and difficult to realize due to these subtle obscurations to omniscience. And even though it is there, we don't really recognize it, or we do actually recognize it, but we don't really believe it. We see it, but we have some doubts about it. There are 7 concepts of ignorance, and the principal one is actually doubt. So when you meditate and you do not follow any thought of the 3 times, and you just rest within the natural state of the mind, that is it and nothing else. But we don't believe it. In the Chut practice, for example, one of the maras is the mara of self-deceit, which basically is doubt. We cannot decide. And for as long as we cannot fully decide, we have not realized the view. So coming back to Naropa, so then Naropa set out to meet Tilopa, and under Tilopa he endured 12 major and 12 minor hardships, 24 hardships, and then finally in the end Tilopa hit him over the head with his sandal. And at that time Naropa realized the view without any doubts. So that is, for example, the transmission of the practice blessing lineage. Or to give a smaller example, for example, we have a tradition now of practicing the Yamantaka Drupchen. It's in the West now. It started in Arizona, and in the beginning it was very small. There were just a handful of disciples, and now it's getting more and more and more. And now people are crowding and trying to get a seat, and which is very difficult. And also we are holding the retreat all over the world. And that is because people are becoming aware of the feeling, the experience that arises. That is the practice blessing lineage. For example, when I was young, we started, we had this tradition of Yamantaka Drupchen in the monastery, and at that time I didn't have much of a choice to do it or not do it, but I had to do it. But then as time went by and Drupchens went by, I started to really actually feel the blessings of the deity. Again, the personal experience of that. And now also when we practice together in a group like that, because the basis of our mind is one, this feeling also pervades others. So it also reaches the minds of others and arises in their minds. And when that feeling arises, then that is when we purify the obscurations. The obscurations we cannot see, but we purify them in that way. So if we do not rely on a guru, then there is no way we can receive those blessings. That is why all the Buddhas of the 3 times have relied on a teacher. So we need a teacher who has practice and realization. But also what Milarepa said in terms of the qualities of a teacher, he said that a teacher, a guru, but the most important quality is that he possesses compassion for the disciple. And the most important quality for a disciple is to have devotion to the guru. So in that way, it is like in this way a lineage can be transferred. So Milarepa had said that if a guru doesn't have compassion, no matter how great his qualities are, no matter how much he knows, it will be of not much use. And likewise, no matter how great that disciple is, if he lacks devotion, then he cannot establish a connection to the guru. So a guru is someone who must possess not only a lineage and instructions and knowledge and so on, but first and foremost must possess compassion for the disciple. And then the disciple must have devotion for them to connect. So the essence of all blessings, therefore, is the devotion to the guru, or is the guru.
allen und eine Übertragung hat und gelehrt ist. Wenn er aber dann obendrein ein Mitgefühl noch hat, dann ist er in wahrer Weise geschmückt. Und das gleiche auf den Schüler bezogen. Und wenn er dann dann noch obendrein voll liebevoller Herzenswertschätzung ist, dann ist es seine Auszeichnung. So braucht es für diese Verbindung zwischen Lehrer und Schüler, die von der Seite des Lehrers das große Mitempfinden, von Seiten des Schülers die Herzenshingabe und Wertschätzung. Dieser Lehrer ist zugleich auch für uns jener, der die Unerschütterlichkeit verkörpert, dieses Prinzip des Mitgefühls, so wie man wenn man sagt, man hat verschiedene wertvolle Substanzen, die, so wie Gold oder so etwas, die unveränderlich sein, die sind in einer gewissen Weise, das weiß man, die Farbe bleibt gleich, man kann das so und so kneten und drücken, es bleibt immer das Gleiche. Das Wichtige daran ist diese Kraft von Bodhicitta, diese Liebe, dieses Mitgefühl, das sich in keinem Umstand verändert, egal ob da jemand ärgerlich ist oder preisend und lobend, sich in doch keinen Umständen verändert. Diese sich nicht verändernde Qualität, und das ist für uns auch in der Qualität des Lehrers enthalten.
Dera tata nyamni salat jepa shena tata chechu perna munje tisa mabalo tage lama ser dokto pa changbe ba yore mangbo yore tinani malari ba loma toksu ta dongya pe kaletia chami malari ba na ta ha ko ma pa ka chama ni pi ta dongsa de malari ba re yena de ta so wan ko ka le ma pa lo sa ke somebody malari pe nyuru la sa je se ba so khen yo 랍차가 책에다 단 통은 남과 사집이 체주 라마가 체주 로마가 용띠 라마 로마니 체주됐다 단 통야요 대주 가래를 사지했던 속생 가래리 상모잖아 다다다 마음을 잡을 까지 봐 대들 맛이 왔다 저는 코코요데 연락이 돈답고 내가 하고 또 봐라 이제 샘때다 미소 자서 봐 까지 봐 장봐 까지 봐 대체 말아리 뭐 찍고 그지 샘도 쳐와지 랩고요 코를 남나 나 시요 샘셔야요 말했지 나 중앙아가 참 요지 저소 이시를 딱 봐라 저도 종라고 랍차가 저르지는 고야 망보 요리 소속을 라마테 빠지는 라마테 적대 샤속들 라마테 샤데 싸요 말 라마테 샘데 셔야면 샘데 셔야로 라마 탐할 바래지 라마데 이런 샘데 셔야면 하고지 소속으로 상속생길을 시하며 하고 너무 딱 와요 말이지. 그래서 단 잡을는 까지 빠지지. 냠니스를 하지마. 말라리 뉴르로 사제때 속생오 제바. 상제시 보다 가래리. 오 생은 이지미 봐 속 하고나. 될 다다 사제기 인종을 사제 것으로 인종을 당호랑게 랑 상제라. 니지지 상 예들은 semna pata cha te saje la ku yori te ha ko ni te ma ko le tali saje ko sung ku yong ti ti ni ti sung ko la ma ko je she ko te la ma yong ti je la ma ko je she ya te ti ni yong ko le te o nyami sa la ku ji ba de ta ma la ri pe ka ngi ja ri sin je wala te ta ta ma la ri pe men ko nang ko so 같이 안 좋고 또지 semna chowa le ku yori na wa ma yi ba de ma la ri ba de na 때보다 사태라 차대 미길 코테 가래실 코 소화들 보도 다 섬지 제와대 잡여가 지다들이 또 말아리 봐라 양친 지야들나 요래 다다 멘다 동 총고래 뒤걸로 싸우다가 이 라마가 용디다 로마가 뭐 냐 적송아 다 용디인데 다왜 하고 특별히 뒤걸 돌은 게나 야고 요래 거서
So now regarding this practice blessing lineage, The feeling that arises. There's a story from Marpa and Milarepa. Actually, in the beginning, Marpa had many different disciples, many great lamas who actually had like golden parasols above their heads. And Milarepa at that time was the worst of disciples. He was the one who was constantly being scolded and beaten and put through many hardships. So many of you are familiar with Milarepa's story. He really was the one to be beaten and abused. But then, in the end, when Marpa then gave empowerment, at that time, in the end, he said that it is due to Milarepa's courage or perseverance that the Buddha's teachings have like a life force tree. So this is what he had already said a long time in the past. But the fruition of these words we can actually witness right now. And so here we can also see the quality of a guru and a disciple. So why a life force stream? It is because in future times, now in this world, the Kagyu lineage is still renowned. Even if people are not so familiar, they still hear about it. Those who understand the ultimate truth can have a way to relax in the nature of their mind. But so the Kagyu lineage really has become limitless. And that is only due to Milarepa, that still these feelings and experiences can arise now. And actually Milarepa himself had said before he passed on, he said that actually when I die, it is just my body that dies, but the mind cannot die. It will continue to pervade the 5 elements. And whoever trusts in me, I will always be with them together. So actually there's many things to be understood from just these words. So when a guru's body dies, the mind cannot die. If the mind would die, this guru would be just an ordinary being. So when bodhicitta has arisen, however, then that guru will always remain. And so now in this world, this is now the renown of the Kagyu lineage that still exists, and it was due to Milarepa's hardships in practice. And so now he had attained enlightenment. What is it that we call a Buddha? Anyone who realizes non-duality and therefore attains the 3 kayas of a Buddha. Buddha in Tibetan means Sangye, and Sang means to clear away, have cleared away dualistic grasping. Gye means vast or expansive. Then when there is no more dualistic grasping, the mind becomes vast like space. So that is what we call Buddha. And so we speak about the accomplishment of the 3 kayas when we become a Buddha. Or Chigden Sumgen also speaks about 4 kayas in the context of explaining the guru's qualities. So when we know that, we understand the meaning of the practice blessing lineage that was passed to us from Milarepa and due to his great hardships. And so nowadays, when we hear about Milarepa and we just hear his name, often we instantly listen up and a feeling arises. And there's even like films and so on. And so why is that? It is really ultimately because of his loving mind that pervades everywhere. The story of Milarepa and its fruition in the present day is really quite amazing. So if we really think about that, then we will understand. So a name must always correspond with the meaning. So we associate a meaning with his name. So when we understand the qualities of the guru, we develop devotion to the guru, and through developing devotion to the guru, all of these qualities or the blessings arise. So this is an important point to understand here.
Allein den Namen zu vernehmen, Das alles ist in diesem einen Wort von Mapa so zusammengefasst. Das sind der Ausdauer, des Milarepa, der Lebensbaum, des Buddha-Lehre-Sein.
드레드레드는 다 라마 먹고 가면 라마가 거기를 들이 그래서 메타비게 보는 제와리 오 가오요리 라마티 적길네 와리 바스 초외 냠선이 와도 라마 샘득가리 나 가리실 가거도 오 라마티 말을 찌아치 보요리 찌와라 찌니들이 소속 다디지 좀 저래 다디지 지금 이제가 샘 중이 아니 이제 쪽바에 봤지 초와들 넣고요. 이제 초위 남선 용와서 진짜 시즌 말도 받으러 오 라마 개의 신이 삼지에서 내가 며칠이 등에 다니게서 봐 내가 저저서 봐 레드블리 맥치와 야 사톡지와는 지와 사람들 산속점 집에서 뭐지 라마지는 알아 톱거리 라마 개의 신이 참아서 아치 버리서 이건 소실 라마지 찍고 yap고 있어 제일 찍어가지고 오커이란 말을 가가 말해서 따라 처리 소실로 말 라처리 이마저로 소실로 말 라우리 자자자 라우리 대사 걸로 라마 개신이 삼치 소리 정들이 지발에 라리 소들면 나서 말해 나 용기가 야말 따대 sem는 게 요래 신이 다바라 그 르에 잡지 벌써 자세라는 해서 개신이 마치 개긴 잡지 따치 벌방아 하고 오 롭다가 기기에서는 코도 빼까와서 버리스 오죽죽답지 라도 그 맥세 멋지게 되시라 요니야 기기인섭이 빼서 버리 지는 샘서 버리 대대로 초와지 들이 소속에 잡을리 기록 탐지를 비반해래 요래 같이 그러는 게 시도물라 쉐는 것들이랑 약보도록 들이 너 봤다가 기록서 네 봤단 거래 낭바이나래 기록이다 나들이 소속 시동 조사들이 미 독립적으로 맞아서 충분히 되는 다 사막에 샘십대 차죠 그래 맨날 무슨 블록을 치를 때는 잡을 되자 동야 제동 탑이요 치르게 난 기록 탑지 샘십대 동이 무슨 기록을 참을 인기 대리 삶아 드니 사막에 대체로 드니 은혜 잡을 되고 다다를 되었지 시간으로 동 탑이요 대마다 서서서 나야 고지 코도 짜야 되더니 포도결 고개 쳐도 껴들 천자들이 깝돌돌로 저요리 뒤에다 많이 봐 다낭 소비들 라마도 계신이 잠시 마치 기기 잠시 삽지 배차발이 성들이 소실 라마 대라 대파지 밥에 봐 용거리 대기 주보들 무지 밥에 봐세 라마 무지 하자 가르쳐 보래 그래서 라마리 꺼들 뒤는 성지 이렇게 갈랍소 다 산족샘 랍소 아니 이제 산적샘 랍소 산적샘 과일을 이피를 놓으러 왔지 이피를 놓으러 저 비디니 발라 삼대요 가지 봐 삼대요래 되는 다 주바고 뭐야 삼대에 다다 찍고 많이 받다 주바고 뭐서는 진짜 매게데 그래도 시인데 지질에서 봐도 당니 너무 강경 쳐박고 들라마가 책대 동들 들성 못하나 들이냐면 거 강화는 속을이 먹으시 봐도 됐다 요는 보고 얼마 제가 가고 살면서 내마치를 못했나 용거라 초랑 안 보고 나 죽고 됐다 그래 돈 약고 마실 때라고 생각을
So when we cultivate devotion to the Guru, first we see the Guru's form, and through the Guru's form, the Guru connects to individuals, to people. And then when we see the Guru's form, we are happy. And so with the aggregate of the body, we approach the Guru, or we establish a connection. And with the aggregate of feeling, we gain an experience. So then we have approached the Guru, then what is the Guru's mind? Why do I like this Guru so much? It is because he loves me. And when love arises in my mind, self-grasping is destroyed, it diminishes. And it is because the basis of our mind, our mental continuum is the same, that this feeling can arise within my mind. And then with the aggregate of perception, I perceive the Guru's qualities. I can see the Guru's qualities. And that is all of the teachers, not just my teacher. So this teacher, now temporarily through this teacher, I am learning how to accept the suffering in this life. I am learning what are the causes of happiness. He opens up my eyes to karma. And ultimately, he teaches me precious bodhicitta, which will be essential for me to have in all future lifetimes. So all of this I have obtained from the Guru. And that is why the Guru is so precious. And all the Gurus are so precious. So one shouldn't think that it's just my Guru that is so precious, because that is a not very stable state of mind. If you only cling to your guru, then one day maybe he does something that you disapprove of, and then there is an argument, and in the end you might even leave him behind and lose that guru. Actually, that is very likely to happen if you only cling to one and consider everyone else as negative. So actually, the guru should be seen as even more precious than one's own life. That is also taught in the 37 Bodhisattva practices. And I do not have a lot of great qualities or learning, but this is the only thing that I really keep in mind. And in the 37 practices, it says, you should regard the guru, the spiritual teacher, as even more dear than your own body. And so to myself, it is not just the spiritual teacher, but all teachers in general. I really find they're very precious. For example, when I come to a school, there's a school teacher, I really feel that they are so fortunate. This is so wonderful. He is able to open the eyes of so many children here in this school, the eyes of what to do and what not to do in this world, in this life. That is so excellent. So I really feel that way. And regarding the different religions in the world, they all have some beneficial qualities. And of course, some people use them for manipulative or political reasons, and then they are trying to raise their own religion and bring down another and so on. And that can also happen within Buddhism or any other religion. And this is really how we transform medicine into poison. Any actual Dharma or religion must bring about peace and happiness in the mind. In the worldly sense, the worldly tradition, sciences and so on, they were able to develop and improve the outer world. On the inner level, all the religions, like our own, our responsibility is to bring about the peace and the happiness in the minds of beings. And if we are able to accomplish that, then actually we can make this world the pure land of Devachan right now, right here. But if you are raising your own religion and you're humiliating another, then the response from the other one will be similar, and that is just like two glass cups bumping together and breaking each other. So that is something we should not do. What's very important is to have a pure perception, to consider all teachers, not just spiritual teachers, but all teachers as precious. It's important to really cultivate a changeless faith and devotion to the Guru. And whenever you think of the Guru, you should remember his words. What did he say? He told me about bodhicitta, didn't he? And what did he mean with that? The altruistic mind. And what does that mean now? It means to treat those around me, those near me, my companions, with kindness, with love. Today I got angry. I remember the Guru's words. I should not get angry. I have to practice patience. I must not lose my love. So in this way, we remember the Guru's words. And we understand his qualities with this aggregate of perception. And so then with the aggregate of karmic formation, we complete the activity. That is, we practice according to the Guru. And then, whenever difficulties arise or afflictive emotions arise, you remember the words of the Guru, the meaning of those words, and you practice them. And in that way, actually, you are establishing a foundation of actual practice. And so then otherwise, if you have biased views, then it's very easy that if the guru is doing something that you disapprove of, that you won't stay in his company for long, and then there will be a clash, and in the end you will go separate ways. So for this reason, it's really very important to understand the meaning of what has just been said.
Bedeutet denn eigentlich diese Lehre? Es ist nicht die vergängliche Erscheinung des Körpers, um die es hier geht, sondern es geht um das, was dieser für uns vertritt, die Funktion, uns befreiende Information zur Verfügung zu stellen. Auf die Ratschlag, auf die Rede, auf die Worte des Lehrers gilt es zu schauen. Das sind die Worte, die uns vertraut machen damit, dass wir Liebe in uns bewahren sollten, auch mit Geduld unter schwierigen Umständen. Wenn wir dann mit Freunden und Feinden, mit unterschiedlichen Menschen zusammen sind, dann fallen uns vielleicht diese Worte ein. Hat er nicht gesagt, Liebe ist wichtig, ich muss diese Liebe mit Geduld bewahren und so fort. Und andere Schwierigkeiten und Nöte, die wir erleben, denken wir, da hat er gesagt, das nicht so wichtig zu nehmen und so weiter, sondern an dem Üben des Herzens, das Üben des Herzens voranzutreiben. So werden wir uns nach und nach immer mehr an die Worte des Lehrers erinnern und daraus kommt die eigentliche Wichtigkeit, die uns in diesem Leben zur Wertschätzung und Liebe für den Lehrer anleitet.
들이 취탐세지 행보 사자체 보소 사자체 모드는 명 sakchi dokchi wama san takyo longtar pabe tale wama 들이 냠이 설하고 지바라 sakchi dokchi takyo 타톡 가리 다미 도보시rat 다 맞아봐대 하거나 이야 맞아봐 하고 니지미 바대 동만이를 고용해서 취탐세 행보 추풍 지체지동 타톡에 돈다고 되바 도보치라서 말이 사자체보다 취탐적인 행보를 들이 데려다가 쓰는 게 행보 하더라 습지 삼치게 돈나서 도마 빠가 타마섬 되고 이동나 섬었다 될 때는 가까워요 말이 들이 다다는 참적이 쓰는 게 행보
And then also it is said that the ultimate essence of the Dharma is Mahamudra. So we call it Mahamudra or Dzogchen or the Madhyamaka, the middle way. The Madhyamaka, for instance, establishes the view based on the scriptures, logic and so forth. And according to the practice blessing lineage, there is the view of Mahamudra and Dzogchen. But ultimately, the purpose of all of these is to realize the wisdom that realizes that there is no self, to realize that a self does not inherently exist, that other do not inherently exist, to realize non-duality. So the 84,000 Dharma teachings really are taught in order to realize this ultimate truth. So the ultimate essence of Dharma is Mahamudra, and then the essence of merit is the dedication. And when dedication now here actually means also to always have a wish to benefit others, in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. If you always have a wish to benefit others, then actually there is no separate dedication necessary. So at this point, I'm going to stop the instructions.
Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Everybody thank you.
Guten Morgen. Noch beim Ansagen. Wir möchten euch aufmerksam machen auf diese wunderschönen Bilder, die hier rundherum hängen. Und zwar, die sind von Rinpoches Leben. Wenn ihr die schön findet und möchtet, die sind auch im Shop zu erwerben. Also the picture they are hanging around from Rinpoche's life, they are also in shop available. Ich habe auch schon mal gesagt, wegen der Schatzvasen, Djambala-Vasen, die wir gemacht haben für Rinpoches langes Leben vor 2 Jahren. Die enthalten sehr viele heilige Ingredienzen und sind auch im Shop zu haben. Also the Djambala vase with a lot of very holy ingredients also in the shop. Also we have Yeshet Sogyal and Mandarava statues. So also Statuen von Mandarava und Yeshet Sogyal sind im Shop zu erwerben. Vielen Dank und guten Appetit.